This one is men are being attacked. Do you feel attacked, men? Men in chat, do you feel attacked? Yes. All right, well, let's find out why you're attacked.
Men
he looks so cool.
In this country,
he looks so cool all the time.
Absolutely undeniable.
I love it.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Jake Monroe. This is the Jake Monroe Show. And today I'm going to be talking about the fact that the UK, Britain, is attacking white men.
Yep.
Because, of course, they are. You watched my last video. You watched the alt-right pipeline.
I didn't see that one yet. Did I? I don't
you
think
watched
I
me debunk it.
I want to watch it.
You instead watched me define how the alt-left pipeline is far more likely to be for nefarious means, how that should be attacked, dismantled entirely.
You know, I've kind of reawoken that sort of not really goth specifically, like in the same way that Jake does it, but a sort of like my desires to like kind of be really weird. I sort of have reawoken that, and I was like thinking about like why I liked it, and I had some very interesting conclusions, which are for me only.
But I'm going to be talking specifically about
Boo, Leaflit, boo!
The formerly Great Britain, now just that place where Starmer is, hopefully for not much longer. Resign, asshole.
No, the reason is I want people to understand that there are other possibilities. And if you understand that, then you understand that. Otherwise, there's no point.
Read the room. So, how are men under attack in the UK specifically? I've explained how men are under attack and like throughout all of Western culture, Western civilization. They are. It's undeniable. At this point, it is observable, but now we all know that the left have become, they've gone mask off, haven't they? They're no longer interested in hiding their vindictive, nefarious ways. They don't care anymore. They're no longer pretending to be the good guys, they're not even trying. But as long as we remain the bad guys, they can do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. That's why they're acting that way. Anyway, specifically, how are men being attacked in Britain? Well, to do that, to answer that question, we're gonna have to go back.
I absolutely love this like setup. Just this like artsy, like empty room, camera set up, all by himself, and he just walks around ranting. Like this is like peak content, actually. This is like absolute peak content. We're gonna have to go back
a little bit. We're gonna have to look into exactly where this is starting. It is starting in Adolescence. You may have not seen this, Americans. You might be aware of it because it was a bit of a cultural phenomenon over here. Because the UK wanted something like this so hard. They wanted that, man. They were bricked up. God, they were looking for something like this. Mm-hmm. There was a show created called Adolescence. It portrayed a white boy doing his best to maintain the most villainous expression on his face. Doing his best at the director's advice.
The director, look.
Portray.
Listen, Timmy. We need you to look as white as possible.
White young boys.
What should I look like, director, sir? White! As white as you can!
As evil as possible. Can you give us an evil face, Timmy? I don't know what his name was. Can you give us an evil look, an expression? More evil.
More white.
No, more evil. Can you you know what? Can someone take this kid and give him like evil expression training? I want this white boy to really sell that he's evil, that he's bad. Now, this was made by a dude, this guy, can't be bothered to look up his name. He was inspired to write this show about a white boy stabbing a girl because he was inspired to do so by things like red pill, like online red pill content creators. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I've not watched this.
Yeah, because that's what red pill content creators do, is that they true. That's like a whole part of our message. Yeah, it's just like stabbing random people. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shit. Okay, I have better things to do with my life than waste my time watching this.
Damn, fucking got us. How'd they know?
Garbage.
How
However,
did they
I do
fucking
know where it came from, what inspired it, and what it's going to do now that it's been created. But what inspired this idiot to make this was he saw on the news that knife crime, you probably already know where I'm going with this, knife crime is way up.
Uh-huh. Damn.
And women are being stabbed by young boys. Yeah. No, they're not white. Before you ask.
Well.
No. Per 1,000, actually, you're far more likely to be stabbed by a black dude. A young black man, actually.
From where? From what culture?
In fact, they're more likely to stab each other and then stab white dudes and then stab white women. They're quite low down. So these statistics don't lend themselves very well to the creation of this show, but the creator of this show saw that women were being stabbed, or that a woman had been stabbed. I will tell you exactly the news report that he said.
Man, look at this sorcery, guys. Look at this sorcery. They took a thing where people were getting stabbed, right? People were getting stabbed too much by knives. Like knife crime rate go up, right? And so like there could be sorcery on both sides have sorcerers, right? So you have like a sorcerer saying like, well, it's because of the color of your skin, right? But then obviously it's about the culture and like which the person comes from. That's obviously it, right? Like, so what country is this person fucking from? And what is that culture like? That's the important part, right? But then, of course, they sorcery it into being like, actually, it's because of men.
And decided,
fucking sorcerers.
Like, why? Why is this happening, he says. Can you believe this? He was like, why is this happening? And then he decided to make a show about it where it's a white boy that did it, which is statistically very unlikely compared to other statistics.
Yeah, but but here's the thing, right? In this guy's mind, he's like, even like if we were to assume that he like let's like be generous here, and let's say like this guy wasn't actually like woke. He probably is, but you know what? Let's say he's not, right? What do you think is easier to pitch to like the Hollywood people? By the way, we're gonna do a thing where this kid like stabs another person, but it's like, you know,
who the fuck
we're gonna use a
Leaflit?
person from, I don't know, Somalia or something like that, right? And it's like, obviously, even if statistically that's the higher chance, people are gonna be, well, I feel really uncomfortable by that. Well, that makes me feel a little weird. Right? And that's what they're going to do. So that's why they're like, well, I guess we throw it at the white boy because that's free.
And other ethnicities far more.
It's free. It's easy. It's an easy blame that like won't get you in trouble. That's probably like most of the reason.
Likely to do it based on per 1,000. And not only that, decided to shoehorn in the red pill online social media sort of.
Also free, by the way. Blaming it on conservative red pill people. If you consider all of the people that like work in the Hollywood industry and all of the people that work in entertainment, the types of people that work in entertainment, you're not gonna have any blowback at all if you make it like conservative like red pill stuff. So it's basically free, even if it's not like even if it's not like realistically accurate. It's free and will get them the least backlash. That's why they do it.
You know, the toxic environment that young boys tend to apparently cultivate whenever they chat online. Misogyny. Yes. Yes, misogyny. And decided to make a show about these two things, one being the cause of the other, two things together.
You want to know what's funny is when somebody's like being when someone opens okay when somebody opens up with like just straight up misogyny, it's like I'm like, okay, this is going to be a fun group to be in. I actually had that moment happen. I was on a podcast earlier this week, right? And I was a little uncomfortable because, you know, it's like I'm meeting like these people for like the first time, right? And so I wasn't like fully like comfortable at the time. I've always been really uncomfortable around people, like just in general. I'm that kind of person. I'm kind of a stick to myself kind of person. But anyway, so I'm on this podcast, and the guy just like he just opens up like straight up. It's Words of Paradise, by the way, like fucking amazing show, by the way. I had so much fun on that show. But he just opens up with just like pure misogyny, and I'm like, this is gonna be great. This is what I'm talking about. And like I had only booked 1 hour, so I told him like, yeah, I can only. I was like, oh yeah, you know, I'll be on the show, but you know, I can only be on for like 1 hour or something like that. Like I'm really busy 1 hour. The truth is, I always say 1 hour because I don't know what the chemistry is gonna be like. I'm like kind of worried, you know, because I don't know like how fun it's gonna be, and I don't know if like I'm gonna feel awkward, and I don't have the chemistry to like really like vibe with this group, right? But I get on there. He opens up like straight out full misogyny, and I was like, "That's what I'm talking about. This is gonna be great." And I had a good time, and I extended all the way to the end of the show. I said, "Yeah, you know, like as long as you need, I'm having a great time. I can stick it out like all the way." It was great.
And in typical
I loved
Netflix
it.
fashion, they decided.
Well, because okay, so you want to know what it's kind of like? It's this is how it's like kind of explained, right? It's like you ever like met somebody and like you're afraid, like you're like always walking. Okay, have you ever dealt with like have you ever dealt with a woman and it's like they're like a sensitive woman, and now you're like walking on eggshells like all the time. You're like, oh, I can't say that. I can't say that. I'm like walking on, oh, I don't want to offend her, right? But then imagine like so it was similar to me where I was like, oh, I don't know, right? And then the dude just was like he stomped on all the eggshells himself. Right? So now there's no eggshells. So now it's like perfect.
Race
it's exactly
swap
like
the
that.
Kid, and decided to make a show about these two things, one being the cause
No,
of the.
he wasn't a woman. It's just I was using an example that like you'd probably be able to understand more. I was thinking about it from like the average chatter's point of view of like what they would consider to be a person that would be very difficult to deal with because let's be fair, women are a lot more sensitive than men typically. On average. Was it something besides such shows as Papa Caps? Thank you for the bits, by the way. Yes, it was. It was a different show. It's on YouTube if you want. It's on if you look at the announcements on Discord, in the announcements channel, if you scroll up a bit, you'll see it there.
Together, two things together, and decided to make a show about these two things, one being the cause of the other, two things together. And in typical Netflix fashion, they decided to race swap the kid.
Of course.
Race swap from what, Jake? I'm glad you fucking asked that question. Because one of the most egregious crimes, one of the most despicable things to happen here in the UK, one of the most telling events that happened in the UK, telling of the kind of environment and the kind of climate we have here in the UK now in regards to the kinds of people that comprise the population. It was this guy. Now,
he looks like a fucking Dragon Ball character. What
this
the hell?
criminal and his three victims here, they were never explicitly said as being the reason why he made this.
Wait,
but
what?
That this went huge. This was a big deal.
hold on. So this is based hold on. So you're telling me that the series was about this dude killing these girls and they were making a dramatization of that case. And typically they always race swap the other way. And you're telling me this is the one time they didn't want a minority? Well, well, well.
Adolescence came out. Specifically because the guy that made it was inspired by girls being stabbed.
Yo, I really gotta ask. Any of the black chatters out there, are you fucking tired of this? You must be tired of like this bullshit like always happening and feeling like, man, why are they always doing this to us? You gotta be so fucking tired of it. Like, I would be tired of it.
Stabbed by boys, which is a deliberately obtuse and dense approach to what the real problem is.
I would feel like a fucking what do you call it? Like if it were me, I would feel like almost a like a what's the word for it? Like a not fatigued. I would feel it's not that I'm not saying the word. I'm forgetting like the what do you call it? The phrase for it. I would be feeling like a sort of secondhand embarrassment or shame out of this, even though it's like totally not warranted. I'm not saying that it's warranted, but I'm saying I would feel it. If I were like, I would imagine like if I were to simulate in my mind, if I were black, I would feel like a sort of secondhand embarrassment from this shit.
Now I could
Cringe,
stand
exactly,
here
cringe.
and go through yet more statistics like these, explaining how white men are not the problem here, but this is not about that. Okay, I could.
Leaflit's not black. I'm working on that. I'm working on it. You know, I got to white, so I got to white. I'm working on it. Okay, I just got my racist, my number one racist. Okay, so like you're gonna have to give me a little bit of time. I'm doing my best. You know, to like hit. I'm doing my best to hit the rounds. You know.
Hell, I might. Since Prevent do not operate here in Northern Ireland, I could do that if I wish.
Yeah, race swapping is fucking hard, man.
However, it's not about that today. It's not about that today. We're going to be talking about how men are under attack with a little bit of racism. Or just noticing facts, which tend to be the same thing these days. Racism, noticing facts, reading statistics.
Yeah, it's very racist.
These things tend to all be the same.
Doug, thank you so much, man. Thank you. When you make your way to the dark side, you mind sliding your boy the pass? Sure. Of course, man.
These days. So, Adolescence was released. And in typical Netflix fashion, the race swapping happened from this dude to this kid. Because of course. And how else was Netflix going to pick this up? How else? Wasn't going to be any other way. Wasn't going to be accurate, was it? So of course this had to happen in order for his show to be picked up. And then the UK government, oh, they loved it. They loved it so much.
Of course they did.
Oh, they couldn't get enough. Ooh, we have a Netflix show.
They're like those people that, you know those people that they flog themselves? I don't know like the word for it, but they try to get like forgiveness or penance or whatever by like whipping themselves. It's like that shit.
The conveys perfectly the kind of thing that we're trying to get across here in the UK government. The exact kind of narrative we're trying to spin. Excuse me, idiot director of this show. Could we use this? Could we use
like slapping themselves on the back like I'm one of the good ones. I'm a good whitey. Like they fucking flog themselves on the back. Please don't. I'm a part of one of you.
this in our schools? Could we show it to young boys, please? Now you might be thinking optimistically, no, This is a
I'm on
terrible
your
thing to
side.
show young boys in school. Giving them a persecution complex immediately? Influencing young boys into thinking that society hates them because they're at any point going to randomly stab a bunch of young girls for no f***ing reason?
Mm-mm.
Optimistically, you might be thinking, the answer is no, we're not going to do that. Why would we do that? They did that, and now they are showing adolescents across the nation to young boys to try and scare the f*** out of them to not, stab girls, little girls.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got white boys in these classes too, just being like, why the f*** am I here? Well, because the demographic that are actually stabbing people,
Leaflit?
and in high enough amounts for you to make a show about it, are also male. You think this is a male problem? It's all men? It's an all male problem? This has just popped up out of nowhere? Yeah, the huge...
You know what's funny is it's actually so incredible. Like, this is the part that makes me laugh so hard. It's actually so incredible, just like how fucking stupid this whole thing is. It's so dumb. It's like, hey guys, we have a really nice country, right? Like we're doing pretty well, compared to the rest of the world. Like, our standard of living is great, right? Let's get a bunch of people from like the fucked up place. Let's get them, and then let's enrich ourselves over here. It's actually so stupid. Like, it's actually incredible. Like, you really think about it, like, man, these people are retarded.
influx of immigration and non-whites invading England
It's actually
exponentially
crazy.
over the last couple of decades.
Let's do it without any vetting. You know what? Fuck it. Who all same. All people are the same. All people, regardless of like what culture they grew up in, it's the same thing.
You don't think that has anything to do with this increase in violent crime with knives? It's just suddenly coming out of nowhere and Andrew Tate's responsible for it? This is how they think.
This
is what they're
it's
thinking.
Funny as hell.
And this is also what white men are thinking. This is what young white boys are thinking. Miss, can I go? I shouldn't be here. I have no intention of stabbing people. In fact, statistically speaking, I'm nowhere near as likely to stab people or women. Not as much as Rudakubana. Can I go? It's like, no. No, because to acknowledge the fact that statistically speaking, you're less likely to do a violent crime would be racist, so we have to lump you all in here, even though you're nowhere near as likely to do that. And this is unfair. We're painting you all with the same brush, but you're all in here. White British man being attacked because of the actions of invaders.
Uh-huh.
Because you're both men, must be the same. How dense.
True.
I want you to imagine. I want you to think.
Because it's the comfortable thing to make. It's a lot more uncomfortable to be faced with the idea that other people from other cultures do not hold the same values. It's really uncomfortable. It's really unsettling. It's an unsettling thought to connect that this other person's a human being, but they don't think the same as me. Like, I found that to be like kind of an existential what's the word? Existential crisis, not necessarily, but I suppose it's a good word. Let's just go with that. I don't really feel like thinking any deeper on it, but it's an existential like crisis of like, you think about, wow, so you mean they don't process things in the same way I do? And you have that kind of thought, oh, so you mean you don't actually, you don't have the moral drive to like not do that thing? Like, it's difficult.
Kind of complex would this give a kid, right? Young girls are just like, you're doing great, sweetie, you're so amazing. You can be literally anything and everything you want to be, and you'll probably be better than a boy at doing this thing. You're amazing, you're great. I'm gonna pick you first. You're gonna have this position above these boys, and you're gonna do fantastic. That's all women here. That's all women here these days. You don't have to give birth to kids. You don't have to uphold your side of the bargain, your responsibilities to society. Men do.
No, just
you,
give
however,
me
sweetie,
everything.
don't need to do anything that society requires you to do in order for society to continue.
I am the table.
You can go ahead and do whatever the you want in any capacity that you like. And you're strong and you're brave and you're and you can do whatever you like.
Yes,
right? That's
queen,
women. That's girls these days. Girls, that's what girls get. Okay? In the media, in schools, everything. That is what women, that's what young women are saying. And it shows with the behavior of young women these days. However, I want you to imagine the other side of the coin, which is young boys now being degraded, constantly being reminded that they are...
Can you imagine if we did that? If we did that to women, it would be catastrophic. Can you imagine that? Like, oh, you're like the worst because you're a woman. You're just fucking nasty and you are evil and terrible. And we just did that all the time to like little girls. Holy shit.
a potential predator.
It would be crazy,
criminal.
actually. It would be way worse.
And they have an innate...
It would be worse because women are usually more emotional.
sense of violence. And at any point, they could snap. And they're going to be on the front news, headlines, that kind of stuff. You've killed a bunch of people. And even if you don't, everyone around you is going to be afraid that you're gonna. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Women are going to be afraid of you all the time. Everyone in society is going to be afraid of you. You're always going to be seen as a potential criminal, a potential misogynist. Your potential is constantly and always being viewed as you're going to do something offensive or violent at any point, regardless of their intentions.
Thank you, Walla Walla. Isn't the default in many Middle Eastern countries? Yes. Yes.
Something offensive or violent at any point.
Basically, the balance of power of femininity and masculinity is bad when it's tipped too far in either way. And when you have kind of Middle Eastern countries, you have it tipped too far in like the kind of masculine side, and then in the West, it's more feminine.
Regardless of their intentions. Imagine a young boy being told this. What do you think their behavior is going to be? Now, I've already done a video about the alt-right pipeline. Congratulations, leftists. There's another way that you've just gone ahead and created that by yourselves. Yeah. Good job.
They're really good at creating their own worst enemies.
Make sure that, you know, young boys don't find their way into the alt-right pipeline. Ironically, then makes them go into it. I'm just using the alt-right pipeline as the pseudonym, as the misnomer that they've assigned to it, because obviously it's that concept I'm describing. If I called it its actual thing, then people won't realize that I'm referring to this construct that the leftists made called the alt-right pipeline. Of course, what I mean is just men waking the fuck up, getting red-pilled, realizing their self-worth, discovering their masculinity, that kind of stuff. Does it end at adolescence? Being shown in schools, young boys being taught that they are a problem in society and are tolerated, and they have to be aware of their behavior at all times. They're being reminded with this absolute fiction of a show.
Who the fuck is Leaflit?
That they are dangerous. Does it end with adolescence? No. No, it does not. Schools are now being infiltrated by something called misogyny classes.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Misogyny classes. Exclusively for young boys, again. Misogyny classes.
I think it would only be fair is if they had stop being a hoe classes for young girls. I think if you did both, then I think I would be okay with it.
Are being taught to young boys in order to make them aware of their innate, intrinsic nature to want to be nasty and misogynistic.
Yeah, but see, you could say the same thing. That the innate, innate, intrinsic nature of like being a thought. Then why don't we have those classes too? It's only fair.
Violent and abusive to women. So you've got adolescence and now you've got misogyny classes now. British men are about to be the most rebellious anti-feminists we've ever seen, and we have leftists to thank for it.
Oh no! They're gonna want to have families. Oh no!
Don't we? They are
Oh
trying
no!
so
They're gonna want a woman that actually wants to be a wife and have kids. Oh no!
hard, too hard to push men down, put them in a box so that all these commies and women can go ahead and destroy everything. Because again, like I said in my last video, the only thing that stands between these commies and these narcissistic women
Narcissistic
and
people in general.
destroying everything we
Narcissistic people in general are like incredibly dangerous, especially when they're also sociopathic. When they're like both, it's pretty bad.
know and love. The only thing that stands between them and that are white men, which is why they're being attacked so horrendously. And they can't just go ahead and make these classes just for black boys because that's racist. That would be racist if we did that. Even though it's actually addressing the problem, that would be racist. We are about to go through one of the greatest Renaissance periods in human history where the word racism is going to be used in a comedic tone.
It is, yeah.
Much like I just used it.
Yeah, because it doesn't mean anything anymore. They've completely beaten it into the ground as like a word.
Racism is going to be one of those things that is...
I mean, guys, all you have to know is that I won most racist VTuber. If you're on YouTube and you don't know about this, I won an award for the most racist VTuber, and I haven't said anything racist. It's that much of a joke.
Is reappropriated for comedy. Racism is... Every time you hear someone use the word racism unironically,
I'm Schrodinger's racist.
the whole room will erupt in laughter, where you will then very quickly get your ass kicked.
That's how I
We're
feel
about
now.
to reject...
To be honest, that's like totally how I feel now. If there's like a person like in the crowd that's like, well, that's racist, I just laugh at them. I'm like,
concept of racism
oh my God, guys, look, it's a fucking idiot.
so hard. They don't even know it yet. You can't push white European men around this hard and not expect this to bite you in the ass. Harder than you've ever been bitten in your life. So you've got white men now.
Well, some of them like being bitten in the ass, to be fair.
Being white kids, children, white boys.
You know what's weird? What's weird, chat? You can always kind of tell. Just like from like the look. Like the simp ass fucking feminist man that is gonna be like a total just sniveling nasty piece of shit. They always have like a very specific look, and when you look in their eyes you can see it. I don't know how to explain it, but like there's like a very specific thing that like every time I see a person like this, I can already tell they look like a stinky ferret. Yeah.
Young boys
True.
being instilled with a persecution complex, with a victim complex, with this complex of self-hatred. They're going to hate themselves. there's going to be more boys in therapy than there's ever been. But the British government, oh, they were ecstatic, rubbing their hands together and licking their grinning lips. Flushed in the face they were with the arousal at this opportunity that Adolescence had provided. So they brought that into schools, kids can watch that now, young boys, they're making them watch that. Now they've got the misogyny classes now because of abuse, I guess. This is once again another attack. This is another
Demoralization
active effort by the UK.
Demoralization, preconditioning. It's to get, you know what it is? It's to get everyone ready for the spells. To make sure that you have zero magic resist, so that by the time you're an adult, they can cast the spells and hit you instantly. That's what it is. Narcissist and sociopath, these people, they fear the ones with magic resist. If you have magic resistance, they fear you and they hate you. And they will do anything they can to destroy you because you are the only threat. All of these like kind of zombie people that have zero magic resist, they get instantly, like they just instant mind controls. Like boom, instantly mind control. They fail their will save, it's over for them, basically. They're already like, right? But then the people with magic resist are like, okay, wait, you know what? I'm not buying that. That spell sounds kind of bullshit. And then they don't like that. They hate that. So then they'll try to destroy you.
Government to make sure that young boys are steering clear of things like red pill content. People like Andrew Tate and Fuentes, and all those other lads that are trying to give men a sense of value back again.
They're literally fucking mind flayers. They're literally mind flayers. These like narcissistic, sociopathic, like men and women, like on the kind of like woke side, they're fucking mind flayers. Like actually, if you think about like how they function, they're like a virus. They're like a literal plague that infects like people's minds and controls them. They turn you into the fucking snail that crawls up the plant to get your fucking eyes eaten out by birds. They're literally that. Edmund, thank you so much for the 500 kicks. Thank you. I voted you as most racist. Sorry, it was the only category you were not. No, you know what, Edmund? It's totally fine. I get it. My point is, the fact that you voted for me as most racist shows how much of a meme most racist is. Like the entire concept of like a person being the most racist is like such a fucking joke. It is so meaningless that you see, because the thing is, if it actually meant something, right? Like for instance, like imagine, you know, simulate this, go back like 10 years or something like that, and then like if you're old enough to do that, you go back 10 years and then like kind of simulate in your mind like the weight behind the word racist. You wouldn't call a person that willy-nilly, right? Because like it's such a harsh accusation, right? It's almost equivalent to like, and you know, they're doing this to like pedophile as well, like pedo, right? Like before that was such a harsh thing that you wouldn't fuck around saying that. You don't fuck around like saying something like that, right? Racist was kind of similar to that. Racist, Nazi, bigot, all of these things. These were things that you didn't fuck around with them. You only said them when it was necessary. But now they have taken those words and completely, they've used their magic rituals to just completely fuck them into oblivion to the point that they don't even mean anything anymore. And the proof of it, again, is like I said, is like you voted for me for that as a joke. But if the word had weight, you wouldn't joke about it, right? That's the point.
Dan? They're trying so hard to make sure that they demonize these online red pill spaces so that young boys do not fall into it. Any boy with a sense of common sense should be able to read between the lines as to why they're doing this. When the government is really trying to tell you not to do something, you should probably be doing it. Okay?
Yeah.
Not in every context. But in this context, where this smarmy is running everything, not for much longer, I hope.
I see it, chat. Chat, I fucking see it. Do you see it, chat? Look into those eyes. Do you see it?
Young men are going to be like, wait, why do we have to listen to this shit? Why am I being... I've not done anything.
You can see it. The bitch made, right? It's
I've
in
not done
there.
anything. They're gonna rebel. Of course they are.
That's so sad because I like ferrets. They're
Gen
cute.
Alpha. Gen Alpha's coming up after Zoomers. Gen Alpha are coming. They're good. They're the iPad kids. They're the brain rot kids. They're the... We had to watch Adolescence in school kids. We had misogyny training in school kids. They're going to be those kids. And I think Gen Alpha probably is going to be the most appropriate label for that generation, the most appropriate name for that generation, because they are going to be absolute tyrants. The good kind. I'm talking like Space Marines, Warhammer, that kind of thing.
Oh, it's about fucking time.
But yeah, they're gonna reclaim everything. They're gonna be like, yeah, we were told.
Is that true?
A little
Is that true,
too
Gen
hard.
Alpha? Hey, is that true? Was Gen Alpha old enough now? I don't know. The kids will be radical as fuck. Yeah, probably.
Not to live up to our masculine potential. So we decided to do the complete
Oh, is
opposite.
Alpha's 12?
No, women love this because now they no longer have to be accountable for anything. They can just act despicable, deplorable at all times.
Uh-huh.
And men are terrified to call it out, to say anything about it. So they just
God, you ever see like arguments with these women? Like when they go to a protest, they're just like, blah, 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 blah. It's awful, man. Holy fuck. It's terrible.
to continue doing what they're doing, exactly how they want to do it. Women get to do whatever they want. Literally everything but what their responsibility is to society. I've been through this before.
Duty is gone.
Men do the shitty jobs. Women raise the kids. How do you think we bounce back so hard from World War II? We survived after World War II. We thrived, we flourished after World War II. We had a baby boom after World War II because of things like traditional values. Do you think this would happen today? Do you think if there was a World War III where a shit ton of men were killed in their millions, and now that more women serve in the military, women too? Though I doubt they'd actually follow through with this assertion that they want to fight on the front lines if they're presented with an actual war. I can imagine they would. World War III ends, what remains of men go back to their country, and the birth rate continues to be the same that it is now, which is below maintenance. There's no baby boom, the dwindling numbers of men, and this arrogant remaining population of women still far more interested in pursuing things like pointless careers, working for a boss, going to Zoom meetings and stuff like this.
Yeah, the greatest happiness.
Zoom meetings and more Zoom meetings and more Zoom meetings about...
Isn't that crazy? They find like the greatest happiness to be sitting in fucking meetings and making money. It's pathetic. It's actually so sad.
Who cares? Who cares? Society was completely fine before a shit ton of
meaningless, selfish, sitting in meetings, making money for purely selfish reasons. It's actually so pathetic. Like, that is so sad. If you think about it, like, really, like, you really dig down and you think about what that means. It's depressing.
Feminists
for them, not for me.
started going into the workforce and doing Zoom meetings all day. We were fine, okay? In fact, I think we were better, economically speaking. And societally speaking, we were still better. We were better. Everything was better. There was not this screaming vacuum in society for women to shirk, to ignore their responsibilities to society.
Even then, though, Here's the funny thing. It didn't even mean that women never worked, right? Because, like, if you think about it, back in the day, like, say, like, the husband was a farmer, the wife was helping out with that too. Like, milking cows and shit, and, like, you know, making, like, secondary products that, like, they would sell. So it's not even like the wife wasn't a part of it.
Their responsibilities to Western culture,
It
their
was just like together, you know, it was like a co-op experience, right?
responsibilities to their race and to the workforce. And value things like promotions over, you know, raising a child, teaching them, playing with them, taking them to school, going through homework, which feminists have managed to convince everybody are bad things. Yeah. Going to a job that sucks ass, working for 10 hours a day, coming home exhausted after listening to your shitty, stupid, dumbass boss, having no time for yourself. These are all things that are better than having kids. You see, people are they're gonna hear me being like, oh, you think women should just be at home having kids? What do you mean just? What do you mean just? You're just going to work. Being at home raising kids, that's the real heroic work. That's like the real shit. That's the real deal. You think women should be in the kitchen? What do you think's in the kitchen? That's where you feed your hungry children.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Where you wash their dirty clothes. And in some cases, in some people's kitchens, this is
That's
where
fun.
you sit upon the table.
It's great. It's great. Like, you make food, right? You make food for your family. You get to see them happy. Like, that's so cool. Like, you get to, like, create something that, like, makes people's lives better. Like, what's wrong with that? That sounds like a good time.
And you help your child through their homework. Help them achieve things. Help them discover their sense of self-worth.
Like a support class. Yeah, exactly.
All these things happen in the home. From the perspective of a mother to a child. It's not just anything. You're not just a housewife. You're not just raising, that's all I'm doing, just raising kids.
It's
The
huge.
fuck do you mean? When the
Just, yeah,
hell
what do
did
you mean
that
by
lose value to women? To Western women, because things like that still have value to the entire planet. We need to reframe this.
Yeah.
I mean, red pill dudes out there, like myself and various others, they know this.
The hilarious thing about feminism, right? Feminism, a thing that espouses to be this thing for women, hates everything about women. Like, the irony is actually amazing. Like, oh, we care about things that have to do with women. Oh, so you hate everything and you think everything that women do is terrible. Like, that's crazy.
They know the value of raising children. They know that this is the most important thing in the world. They know this is why Western civilizations bounce back after World War I and II.
The anti-racist, the most racist. The feminist, the most women-hating.
Because of traditional values,
What a
because the
world
birth
we
rate was
live
above
in.
maintenance. We need to change how we think about this. You're not shackled at home raising children, not realizing your real potential. You're influencing the next generation of adults by raising children. In fact, how
And you know what's funny? You want to know what's funny? Is these people that want the same thing. They're like, oh, we want the women's empowerment. We don't want the women shackled, but we love Palestine. But we love Khomeini.
how good that child grows up to
It's actually so funny. It's so funny, man.
be, how successful and well-adjusted this child becomes as an adult is going to be the greatest achievement of the mother and the father who worked for this to be the result. And it's this kind of greatness, this kind of value of motherhood that has been completely destroyed and replaced with a woman's value as how useful she is to a
Yep.
corporation. Yeah, you're entirely replaceable. Men already knew this. We don't care. We have a responsibility. Men work at, the factory or whatever, cubicle jobs, waste management, power management, construction, bricklaying, surveying, all these really shitty jobs that suck ass that are very difficult. That's our responsibility.
And by the way, the thing I'm just to be clear, right? I don't think anyone's saying that women should be forced into like this whole thing, right? Like if a woman wants to like do a certain job or whatever, sure. But the point is we shouldn't be disparaging women that do choose to that do choose to fulfill their societal duty. That should be an honorable thing, not a disgusting thing.
And we know that we're replaceable, but that's our burden to bear. Such as responsibility. They are burdens that we have to bear. We are responsible. And young men are being destroyed because young men, or men in general, know this. They have always been responsible for asserting this. They were always the authority that stood in the way of degeneracy, that made sure that the society existed and continued the way that it should in order to survive. Now the whole thing's been disrupted.
Yep.
And now it's being disrupted from the school level. Young boys. The UK government are specifically trying to get young boys. They're trying to manipulate them and choke out any sense of masculinity, confidence. Mothers out there watching this.
The truth is, back in the day, these like sort of manipulative sorcerer people, they all got fucking exiled. They all got kicked out of the town, and then they got eaten by wolves and shit like that. They either got kicked out or they got fucking dunked in the water or burned at the stake or some shit like that. Like all of these freaking sorcerer people. But now they're kind of just free running everywhere.
Are you okay? Would you be okay with this? Your precious boy, your happy little boy.
It's worse too. It's like they're free running everywhere, and then they're getting glazed by like they're glazing each other.
Who giggles and smiles, whose nativities you go to, school plays, get his feet measured to get his new shoes, whose face lit up on Christmas morning. Is he a f***ing monster? Is he? Your innocent little boy who's done nothing to anybody, who you would have thrown yourself in front of traffic to protect? You're gonna let the government tell this precious little boy that he's a f***ing monster and that he's gonna hurt?
The problem is a lot of that mothering instinct is gone. It's been kind of shitted out of people, and the same thing with the fathering instinct. Both like aspects of familial duty have been diluted heavily.
People, you want to see his smile disappear? You want to see anxiety and guilt take over where happiness used to be? Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Thank you so much for watching. I do have some merch available. It is linked down below.
Damn.
Some high quality stuff there. Really appreciate you even just checking it out. Really appreciate you guys actually buying stuff because this studio is not cheap. This suit, however, is. Thank you so much, everybody. Hopefully I've given you something to think about. Catch you later.
I love this guy's stuff. That was great. Guys, I'm gonna link you Jake Monroe stuff. I highly recommend it. A little bit of glazing here. He's got a bunch of these kind of videos. They are like super artsy, and even like his live stream content is really, really cool as well. I'll link it to you guys over here. Do check him out and drop some support there. Give a sub, a thumbs up, a comment on the video if you are feeling generous.
Red, white.